Okay, as we continue to track down these pesky varmints known as weak verbs, we want to look in this video at first yod verbs. These are verbs that in your dictionary, Hebrew dictionary, begin with a yod. Now, the thing is, historically, these weren't all yods. The language has developed. I mean, it developed over 1,000 years and more. By the time the Old Testament was written, probably, anyway, I won't pick her on a few hundred years here or there. Not important. That's not what this video is about. But you see, historically, first yod verbs, some of them were genuinely first yod verbs. If you go way, way back before we wrote anything down, some of them were first yod verbs genuinely. But before Hebrew was a written language, some of them were probably what we might call first-vav verbs. And these two types of of word coalesced in biblical Hebrew as first yod verbs. And so how do you tell? Well, sometimes the history peeks out. All right, well, let's dig in. So what happens with first yod? Remember again, a strong verb is a verb that has three consonants that stick around. But we have different kinds of weak verbs where either the first consonant or the second consonant or the third consonant runs away, run away, for some reason. And first yods are weak verbs. Sometimes. Now, sometimes they're not. I mean, sometimes the yod's there and it's like, why did you even have this video, Ken? But there are, I'm going to talk about three instances where something happens to the yod. So first, sometimes the yod may take a hike. I'm out of here. And sometimes this happens when, it's just not needed. So for example, take the verb yashav, to sit. Now, yeshav, it looks like yashav, doesn't it? Well, of course it does, because it's a first, but this yod here is not the yod of yeshav. It's the performative third masculine singular of the imperfect. Remember, yiktol, tiktol, tiktol. So the yiktol, the yod, is the third masculine singular. My subject is a he. And so the yod here is not actually the yod of yeshav, it's the yod of he. This could have been teshev, which would mean she sat, or she will sit. Or it could have been, a shave, I will sit, or I need a shave. But anyway, never mind. So the yod here is the yod of third masculine singular. It's not the yod of yeshav. So where is the yod of yeshav? It's taken a hike. It's gone. So occasionally, with a first yod verb, especially when it historically was a first vav, the yod will go away. So yada, not Yoda. We had yada before we had Yoda. But anyway, yada means he knows or he knew. And sometimes in the imperative, know thyself. Da means know as a command, a second masculine singular. You, man, know. So the yod takes a hike here, and you're left with da. So da means you, know. So sometimes in the imperative, the yod will take a hike. So be prepared. I don't expect you to memorize all of this, although you can if you have an infinite number of brain cells, brain space. I don't know how it works. It's not in the cells, but again, not important. So sometimes the yod takes a hike. Be prepared. All right. And again, this happens especially when it historically was a first vav. Okay, so the yod may take a hike. Secondly, the yod might go vowel. And the happy leprechaun hat has nothing to do with this. I just thought, why not? Okay, so the yod might go vowel. This is not that difficult. Actually, this is pretty easy because take yarash here. With yarash, the yod is still there. It's just not a consonant anymore. And so we have yirash. And what was a consonantal letter has become a vowel letter, a mother of reading, a mater lectionis. So again, it's not like you wouldn't have been able to figure this out because all the letters are still there. It's just done a slight little irregular thing. So, okay, so the yod might go vowel. Boring. Okay, so 1, the yod may take a hike. 2, the yod might go vowel. 3, the revenge of the vav. Sometimes the vav, when it was historically vav, first yod, sometimes the vav comes back. And a lot of times this will happen in a like the nifal stem or the hiphil stem. And I'm abbreviating them N and H because it's simpler and it makes more sense, frankly. But if you're old-fashioned, it's the nifal and the hiphil. So, for example, take this form. Hoshiv. Hoshiv, can you see? So this is from Yashav. You can see the H, it's a hiphil, the causative stem. To cause, this translates something like he caused to sit. Sit down, boy. He caused to sit. So the H is the hiphil. Yashav, the Hirik Yod is the hiphil. That's telltale sign. Where did this Holam Vav come from? It's the Yod revealing, revilo. It's revealing its true colors. It was originally a Vav. And so it's returning as a vowel with a mother of reading, in this case, Hoshiv. The Nifil will do similar things. Now, I'm going to be naughty here, and I'm going to reveal a stem, or a stem we haven't talked about. It's the hiphil passive, or the HP. It has a name. It's called the hofal. I will do a video on it unless I die. It's part of this last part of the Udemy course, if you're doing my Udemy course. The hofal is the passive causative. So this would be translated as something like he was sat upon. I don't know, how do you do that? How about it was sat? I don't know. Okay, this happens to be here for some reason. It was sat on my computer. Anyway, it's passive. But the key here is you can see that the original Vav has returned as a vowel letter, this time as a sharuk, a hufal. Hufal, don't bother me. So Yashav becomes Hushav in the hofal stem, or the HP, or the causative passive stem. Okay, so there are three things that first yod verbs do. Sometimes they take a hike, sometimes they become a vowel letter, but it's still there. And then sometimes the Vav comes back as either a sharuk or a Holam Vav. One last thing I want to remind you of, we've seen it before, and that is that halak sometimes behaves like a first yod. So if I want to say, hey, you, walk, lake is the command, second masculine singular form of halak. Walk, lake, and you can see the hey goes away, just like we saw with some first yod verbs. Okay, well, this has been a video on the irregular first yod weak verb.